Hey, how's it going? Here's my vlog for the 4th of May 2023, and it's 10:08 at night. I'm gonna go to the store before it turns 11 so I can get, a little bit of exercise and some food. Gonna be hungry. I'm gonna get an energy drink for the second time and a tomato soup and thinking about getting a microwave burrito meal, like some food, some mofu. I don't got that much food now, and you got the frozen vegetables and some like noodles that I don't even think you gotta have like seasonings for it and stuff. I do have in the kitchen, but I'm not a cook. So I'm only in like website mode, yeah. So I was doing website stuff until this morning. Oh, it's until sunrise or whatever, and then I slept kind of in the day, and then in the morning, like 2:30, got up. Called my mom. Yeah, she invited me over. Went over. Did she give me food? I can't remember. Maybe it was a salad. I can't remember. But yeah, we went on a bike ride. Maybe like third big one. And brought the cat. Went down to the bike park, and we went there yesterday on a bike ride and saw a bike race. So that was interesting. But and then came back and I raked back and forward, front and backyard, two full big cardboard boxes full. And then came back here and was working. So the work that I was doing last night, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Seeing all these different things that I'm building, like part of me is like, oh, cool, lots of different things to do, lots of fixing. So that's good. But it's like, wow, so much, Jesus. And like, yeah, I don't know. I think I do some batch edit that may be screwing it up because I could have sworn I fixed the future ages before that. You could see the background of the blue and not the underline, right? And it took me forever, and I figured it out. And I double checked it, and it was all good. And now I look at it, and every single one, man, white background, broken like link underline. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm gonna have a look at that again. Oh, but I think I figured it out. I fixed one. So I go and fix all this, but I'm yet because I'm right now I'm moving in icons. Like it's crazy. One interesting thing about website for me design is like if I ever get stuck or whatever, or I don't want to work anymore, like maybe creative blockage, just take time off because when you look back, you're gonna be different enough somehow. You're gonna get more developed enough to just know the next thing to do. So yeah, I look at that and I see the links on the very top on where the time is, the date, the year, the century, and yeah, right next to it's got the just like yesterday. You couldn't have the. I realized I couldn't have the counter up there. Well, now I notice that up there there's also the link, and it can't be up there because it needs to be down below because there's room down below, and that's the area where there's all the links. Why would I have other links in another place? You have to have all the links in the same place. So I violated the consolidation rule. Such an obvious rule. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Must have not looked at it enough. So right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm having to do it with all the future because I think all of last night I was doing it with the timeline, and then I didn't get around to doing the future because I passed this out. So right now I'm doing the future. I have like three more folders worth to do. Yeah, waiting for one to open up right now. They take forever to open. So yeah, if this opens before I'm done with the video, which it probably will, because it was trying to open for like 10 minutes before I even did the video. I was cleaning up and getting dressed and stuff. But then I'll sit here and I will try to finish it. Just go over here. I have to drag the 500-year one pages down to next to the arrows. And then I have to drag the prehistory ones down. I have to drag BC and then AD, so four of them. Then you move along. So, and that's for like 16 of them because it's dividing you in regions. So, and that's three. So 16 times 3 of them, where I have to do it with 4 of them. So 16 times 3 times 4 is how many I have to do. But still, but and then upload it, and then yeah, there's still a bunch of like stuff that I fixed before that didn't go all the way because some of them were anomalies. But the next thing that I have to do is the counter. I don't know if I talked about this yesterday, but the counter, oh, there it is. It just loaded. So after I do this video, I'm going to go and do this, and then I'm going to load one of the two remaining ones, and maybe it'll still be loading when I get back. I don't know, but that'd be cool. So I don't have to sit around here and wait. But the counter is like, I had them in different places and stuff, and then I realized, and you can see right now, on my Caribbean 0 to 500 on the timeline, you can just put the counter up on the top. I mean, if every single page is supposed to have a counter, then obviously you put it in with the only thing that's on my website that has every single page, and that's the main link on the top. And the counter works. I mean, even though the counter is built in with all these numbers, so it's like this wide. And I think that's why I didn't want to put it in the first time, because I didn't want it to like push it down, but it doesn't push it down at all on a regular computer. Fits perfectly still, even when they all have links, images. On the cell phone, it pushes it down, but it all pushes them down uniformly. So you have the number and the image on the top, and then down below it's the name, and so it's perfect. It's like, oh my god, and it looks way better because then you have to have it in different places, and because I had to because of my timeline, it was just taking up too much space. It was pushing it down, and I was like, well, why does it down here? Oh, put it up on the top. So I think I can batch edit that in though. I haven't tried. I actually just now last week, a couple days ago, I deliberately didn't batch edit it because I didn't think I could handle it. But what I'm going to do is, batch edit it all in. I think it'll work. I don't know why I didn't try it. But I have to fix the fonts first, because I have to make sure that all the fonts show up on Firefox, because they don't. Like, I think 5 out of the 8 don't. Not like I'm not going to ditch old fonts. I'm only going to put new fonts in front of it. I mean, new fonts behind it, so that I guess if they figure out the fonts later on, it'll jump to the first one that I wanted. So. But so I have to figure out what fonts those are, and do as many as I can until I find them, until they show up, and then batch edit those all in, and then I have to manually drag and drop the number, the actual number that had the page number of the individual page on top of the one that got batch edited in. And then, which will take a while because it's for every page on the goddamn site, which is like, it's 750 pages just for the timeline or something and everything. I have like a couple hundred books, so it'll go on forever, but take maybe a couple days. But but then I have to figure out, do the same thing with the fonts for the countries, and make sure that the fonts are all deep, and that they're all good and activated, and then do the batch edit on those. Those are attached to links, so I can't batch edit the whole thing together. I'd have to batch edit each font, but that's only 16 times batch edit for the whole kit. So yeah, if that all works out, and then I have to fix the side grid on the left side. I hurried. I didn't think things through, and I accidentally, I think, hit like center or bold or something on it, only on the left and on the right. And so on the right, it's scrunched down, on the left, it isn't. So I have to go through everyone. Hopefully, maybe on a batch edit, I can do it and get that taken away so that it scrunches down again. And that's all the ones I can think of off the top of my head. And then there's some little things that didn't go through. And then that, when I can finally go in and look at it and make sure it's all good. And then even the links, because I was trying to look at when the one's a broken link, like how the hell that happened. So yeah, double check the links. And so a lot of stuff going on. We're in May. My goal was to, by the end of April, because I remember what I was saying at the beginning of April, was to add all the icons to the vertical part of the timeline. But, now I'm at 5th of May and 4th of May, and I had to abandon that to kind of update the timeline. So I think I'll be done updating the timeline, all this update stuff. I don't think it'll take that long if everything goes right. 1 week, though, because there's just so many goddamn things to fucking do. But if you're talking about, the top link and then the countries and everything else, a week, and then that's when I can finally start adding images to the timeline, and that'll take at least the rest of May. Take me into June, and so I guess June is when I can decide if I'm not bored with the timeline yet. I'll probably go all through June. This is my prediction, all through June. Adding links, adding images, and and it'll take all the way to the end of June to the beginning of July, and then at the beginning of July, I'll have all the links on there, all the images on there, pasted on for my timeline on the vertical part, and I'll be like, wow, that's cool, but I'll probably be burnt out and been working on just the timeline for long enough. I'll probably be so satisfied with how much better it looks now than before that I'll feel okay to just back off and try to get caught up on my Google Earth stuff, which is way behind. And that would, if I can get that caught up to where I hope the timeline will be by then, that'll give me a really good sense of accomplishment. So, which would take another month or two. So that's where I'm at. The rest of May, I think I'm going to, for one more week, I think I'm going to, what day is it? Thursday? So I'm going to give myself until next Sunday, dude. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday to get all of the update of my timeline finished and polished, because there's just so many pages to make sure it's done. And because, I kind of piecemealed it together. I wasn't really batch editing it because it didn't work every time I tried. It just crashed the computer. It just wasn't at that. It was designed for websites that were smaller, which is fine. But now technology caught up to my website, and now it can do these big ass batch edits. So I'm just getting it all caught up with itself. And now's an appropriate time because I'm converting it to image-based timeline. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to talk about, and I was talking about it yesterday, but I came to the realization yesterday that image-based navigation is a lot less mentally taxing than text. So, for example, if you're looking at a stop sign, it's the actual color and shape of the sign that's telling you to stop. It's not the words on there. The words are on there are only to remind you what this actual sign means, right? And so once you know what the sign means, you really need to avoid the words, because the act of reading a word, deciphering what the word means in English, with them all connected like that, and what does that mean? How do you spell it? And all that entails, and what does it mean? And it's too many processes in your head. If you can convert that word with all the letters into just a sign, then your brain does not go through nearly as many processes. It just goes, it's like, it kind of acts like a black hole portal to something else. You just go, oh, that, boom, It's like, I think our brains are trained to memorize signals, like face. You can memorize people's faces no matter how many people there are. You can always memorize another face. So same thing with an icon. Icons function the same way. And so there's absolutely no need at all to have a word to navigate, unless it's something that's on the timeline that you need the image for. So as far as the top part, the very top navigation part, needs to be completely icon oriented. And even the middle part, the glowing rainbow, is so contracted. It's basically not even the words. It's just like a Caribbean is CARR, West Europe would be like W-EUR, So, so anyways, yeah, so because of all of these things, especially the counter. Oh, and I have to add new counters too. For some reason, a bunch of the pages don't have counters. So on those, I'm going to have to add. But the counter really bothers me because it's just so fucked. And I'm like thinking to myself, why didn't I notice that before? Why didn't I? Well, it was the same thing as before. I was way too, I guess, hung up on squishing it, but now I'm just like, obviously, looks so much better, symmetrical. See, my website's going to start to look good, even to the untrained eye, even to somebody who isn't a web person or whatever. They're going to notice that they can even tell the difference between a symmetrical website and something that's in the process of being built, or something that's just not built well. And so this thing is like coming together, and I think it'll be recognized as and it'll work for myself, because the main reason I build on the site is going to excite me to figure out these historical ideas. I want to like, if I'm reading a historical book. Oh, and I was reading Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon, and it fucking crashed the goddamn program again. I said the other day how it crashed it. Well, I was listening to it last night until I passed out, and then I got up this morning and I wanted to listen to it wouldn't plays any other book, but it won't play that. And I know what I have to do. I have to uninstall the book, uninstall the entire program, to re-download the book, which takes a couple minutes because it's 3.5 gigabytes, and then go to wherever I was and listen to it. And I have to do that every day if I'm going to listen to that book because it's just too big. 126 hours, 31 seconds, 8,800 pages. Biggest book ever written, and it's something you can get for 1 credit on Audible. Get it. Very well written. If you read it, you need to read the chapter on Christianity, because Edward Gibbon must have been fucked in the ass by his childhood like priest, because he hates Christianity. Like he can't mention anything having to do with Christianity without inserting an insult beforehand. He'd be like, the rapist priests, or like, only one of the many times that they had a war. It's like so funny, man. It's like with vile hatred. But it does put Christianity as a cult into perspective, because he's mentioning it as a cult. And if you read a book like a cult book that describes what cults are, he's basically describing a cult. So there was a lot to do. Christianity, in its process of growing up and taking over Europe, did do it in the form of a cult. But anyway, with all the cult ramifications, you know. But anyway, and that's actually one that's still vestige now, and one reason why people can't get out of those weird beliefs about the virgin birth and the resurrection after 3 days and the this and the that. I mean, none of that happened. That's all myth, historical, magical tales that every fucking religion had. It's just that this is a crazy vestige that continued until today. Anyways, yeah, so then I started listening to a lecture about the ancient Japan, which is what I'm listening to now. And when I'm done with it, maybe I'll listen to something else. But I really wanted to listen to that Decline and Fall. So maybe I'll give it another shot and see how much of a pain in the ass it is to do that, you know? So, because at least I know when I need to do that. I should have figured out before. So now I'm going to go and maybe do some of this, and then go over to the store before it's too late. So they close at 11, so they used to close at 1 and then open up at 5, but then after COVID, they close at 11 and open at 6, so, and 6 in the morning, so, yeah, I think they kind of realize, everybody, because like 24-hour fitness used to be 24-hour fitness, now they're 9 to like 6 or something, 9 to 5, so everybody realized they make way more money if they have less hours and they can't go back, so COVID made rich people richer that way. Or made the businesses more secure that way, but it kind of sucks for the people because I love being able to go there late. Anyways, enough talking. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be talking about how I made some headway, but I'm still like spinning my wheels. Like, God damn it, I would really like to. But the thing is, I couldn't really batch edit the thing I was doing today. I had to drag them down, which kind of took time because I had to do with everything. So, but hopefully I can batch edit those other things and then do it. So, but I also have to batch edit in the time. There's 8 different time realms for the future that I'm going to batch edit in the images, but I have to build the images first. I haven't finished building it. We're organizing all those images for the times, for all those numbers, and then even other numbers. So it's actually still Photoshop stuff that I'm working on and having to organize. So, yeah, you know, I got a lot of these different things going on. So, anyways, I think I'm going to go to the store now. Talk to you tomorrow.